All right. The Heisman votes are in, and Cam Skattebo is not a finalist.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start here. Let's start right here.
Okay.
Wolf. I have 3 categories. 1, do you care?
Yeah.
You do care. Okay.
Okay, wait a minute. No, you're asking me if I care.
Yes.
Okay. No, I do not care if
Okay.
Cam Skattebo wins the Heisman Trophy.
I was more in the camp that he should be a finalist. Quite honestly, I don't think anybody's beating Travis Hunter because he's 2 players.
Yeah.
And I know the pushback is, well, where's his team right now? And that's a fair pushback, but a lot of Heisman voters don't view it as the MVP. They view it as most outstanding player. And so at that point, he's 2 players, so he's probably going to win.
Yes.
But
keep in mind, I don't have a lot of value for individual awards for the most part.
That is true.
Period. I do not.
And we can go deeper into the other candidates or whatever, but I feel like Skattebo deserves to be a finalist. I also feel like, though, in years past, there was more than 4 finalists. I thought you could have 5. They only have 4 this year, so I don't know if that's just if there's a cutoff or maybe I just didn't remember that right. Second question, who should care? Because I can tell you who should care is Texas and Clemson should care that he wasn't on the list. Because that leads quickly into my third question. Do you think Cam Skattebo cares?
Yeah, that is a great. I think he does care.
I think he does care too.
I think he does care about this, and that is his prerogative, Basinonians. That is his right to care about this thing. Listen, it's an individual award, and Arizona State has accomplished something collectively that goes well beyond any individual accomplishment to me. See, this is the I can never get rid of the mentality of being a player. I can never get rid of that mentality. Was it nice? Was it wonderful to be recognized, to be a Pro Bowler? Oh, my goodness. It was fantastic. It was fantastic because your peers literally voted on that. The guys you were playing against and standing over many times voted for you, actually, to be that. It was big, but still. Was that why I played the game? No, it was not why I played the game. Played the game for my God first and played the game for my family, of course. Played the game for that and everything that it was. Football means something completely different to me on the collective level. And because of that, I care about the collective. I care about us as a team and how we played. My part in it and how I played, it was huge. No doubt. So when you ask me about do I care, if Cam cares about this, I care for him, that it matters to him for some reason. But for me, it doesn't. It's the collective.
I think there's a lot at play here. One, if they weren't going to have him as a finalist, I wish they would have announced this like the day before the Texas or Clemson game, whoever is who's playing, because he does care, and that I don't have a problem with him caring, honestly. In fact, if they're not going to put him on the list, then I hope he does care, because it's gonna be an extra jolt for him, and ASU's gonna play that up. ASU's already taken some slights this week, just in the 72 hours since they won that game. Sure. We'll get into some more of those later on. But yeah, I mean, look, Cam Skattebo the dude plays with a chip on his shoulder. It's partially why he's so great. But if you look at his numbers and you look at what he accomplished this season, it is absolutely up there among the 5 or 6 best players in college football. And I know there was only 4 finalists. I wouldn't have Hunter off the list. I wouldn't take Genty off the list.
Yeah.
But I think he could be there with either of the other 2. I'd probably keep Gabriel on the list because he's a quarterback of an undefeated team, the only undefeated team. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, Cam Ward wasn't good, because he was.
Yeah, he was.
I guess what bothers me is, A, when I was looking on the odds list yesterday, Skattebo wasn't even listed in the top 10. Like, okay. But B, it's because people weren't paying attention all season. They weren't paying attention to 3 or 4 weeks ago. If Cameron Skattebo had the exact same season he just had on Alabama, he'd probably win.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think, honestly, too, if he had this season last season, he'd be on that list.
Yeah.
He would.
But he did have a good season last year. He was punting and playing quarterback.
Sure.
And,
he didn't have this kind of season.
He didn't have this season. No.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So he didn't have this kind of season right now. Listen, I care about Cam. That's who I care about. I care about Cam. And my advice to Cam would be, take the chip off your shoulder and bury it in your heart. That would be my advice to Cam. You know my feeling on this. It's philosophical, it is. But you know what? Again, as a player's mentality, I'm always going to stick to it right now. You don't want to be externally motivated. You want to be internally motivated, and you want to be internally motivated all the time. So I would, because I care about Cam, I would tell Cam, hey, be internally motivated and not externally. Don't try to prove people wrong. Prove yourself right. Bury that chip in your heart that you're always going to go nuts to prove yourself right, not prove others wrong. Because at some point in time, I promise you, Cam, when you get into the NFL, and you are going to get into the NFL, at some point in time, you're going to say, I made it. You're going to say, I made it. I proved everyone else wrong. I made it. That's not what it's about, though, right? It's about you playing the best that you can possibly play, Cam. And that is why you need to be internally motivated all the time. Can external motivation help you? Yes, it can. But it can't be your core. Be internally motivated.
See, and I mean, just because I've heard Kenny Dillingham say multiple times that he wants internally motivated players.
He has said that?
Yes. I'm certain he says that to his team. I'm certain he recruits players that are
multiple times you've heard him say that.
I've heard him say he prefers internal.
I've heard him say it once, I believe.
Dillingham?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard him say it multiple times.
Well, you have exposure to him.
Yeah,
I don't.
He's definitely brought up internal motivation, but they do use external motivation on this team. They absolutely do.
Of course they do.
And
it's college.
So, yeah. But I mean, in this team in particular, to be projected to be 16th out of the Big 12. I mean, how many times did you hear Kenny say that during the preseason, training camp before the season even started? Oh, that's okay. I'm just coasting the worst team in the Big 12. Let's see how it happens.
How many times have I said all season long that he's using all of that? Yeah. He's setting the table for his players.
And that is part of their team identity, but specific to Skattebo, here, I'll play the cut of Scat after the game on Saturday if people didn't hear it. And the way it was set up, it was Skattebo, it was Xavier Alford, it was Xavier Guillory, it was Sam Levitt, and Dillingham was up there too, although I don't think he was on the stage at this point because most of the questions went to Dillingham first, and then they let him go after 20 minutes or whatever. But this was Skattebo was asked something about the Heisman, because he did the Heisman pose in the end zone on Saturday.
And nobody respects the fact that I'm the best running back in the country. And I'm going to stand on that. And if people want to disrespect that, I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to keep proving people wrong. And whatever NFL team takes me is going to get a gem. And I'm going to give it everything I got for them. And no matter winning the Heisman or losing the Heisman, I should still be in that situation.
So that was his teammates saying facts while he was talking.
Yeah, that is so cool right there. It really is. Listen. He does have a massive chip. I would tell him again, bury it in your heart, because as you're sitting there having interviews, these general managers that are going to be talking to you, they know exactly what they want to see from you. They want to know that this is something that's never going to go away. So bury it in your heart. Be internally motivated. Prove yourself right.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.